All bad news for Mercedes F1 rivals. Oh, wonderful.
I think we are on the air.
Waiting for kid buyers,
Waiting for
apparently.
kid buyers. It's not waiting for kid buyers anymore, as I think we're just about ready to go here.
I
Good
fucking
morning.
love this circuit.
I love it as well. That was the number 15 Thai green chicken curry with noodles. Don't forget your chopsticks. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening once again. You're going to get me laughing again, Rob. Stop that right now. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the SRL Acura NSX GT3 Project Cars 2 Round 2 Championship. That's right, starting a little bit later. We do apologise for that, but we are on air. Still, we've got a 15-minute qualifying session. I thought that would be 10 minutes, but it might still be 10 minutes, of course, if the drivers leave the session. A little bit shorter tonight due to time restraints, like I said, but we are back on the air. And this is an absolute ripping circuit. This one, 4 kilometres, 2.4 miles long, and fantastic corners there. You can see the Villeneuve chicane amongst other great corners here tonight as we look at Truss on your screen. But we are ready to go racing here tonight. Beautiful circuit as always on this game. And as I attempt to sober up after having a few frothies earlier in the evening, it's time to welcome my co-commentator, who's looking absolutely sharp as a tack. He's put a suit on for this one here tonight. Of course, I speak of none other than Rob Dog, 1996. Rob, welcome to the stream tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Trev. It's looking like a humdinger of a race. I say that almost every night we do a stream, Trev. I always say it's going to be a good race, but this is a fantastic little circuit. Zolder, very bumpy, and as you can see there, one of the best boys behind the wheel. Truss having a little moment on his outlap, but very bumpy, very sort of an old school touring car vibe to this circuit, and I have to say, Trev, one of my favourite circuits. So it's a good night to be live and exclusive on YouTube, and a good night to you, Trev.
Certainly is, and boy, let me just lay out what you can expect to see. Oh, Truss, what are you doing, son? Look at that, just getting all out of shape around that corner, but better to make your mistakes now in qualifying than the race, as we take a look at Andy Holden as well, and just who will get pole position here tonight. But we'll take a look at some race notes. A 1-hour race tonight, of course, soft tyres. Rain will be coming midway through the race, meaning there will be a pit stop to change tyres. 15-minute quali, like we mentioned, but that has been shortened due to time restraints. 26 degrees ambient temperature here tonight at Zolder. 30 degrees track temperature, medium clouds. Soft tyres are the tyres you want to be on for qualifying as they heat up faster. It's just common sense. 1 to 2 laps for a really good time. And Rob, we're expecting a pole time in the high 31s, possibly low 32s. But as we've seen in the past, these guys can go a fair bit quicker than what we expect.
Yeah, these guys are freaks of nature sometimes. We always expect a pole time to be, well, really in the realistic zone, and people like Truss and F1 Rocks, or Big Dick Jono as he's now called, usually knock that out of the park. So it's going to be very interesting to see what times they can put in tonight. Certainly this is one of the circuits where it can be very difficult to put in a time. As you saw earlier, Truss, even on his hot lap, having a couple of moments there spinning around, and it's one of those circuits, Trevor, you can really get out of shape way too quickly, and it'll ruin your whole lap. So it'll be fun to watch these guys really blast around for this pretty short qualifying session for an endurance race. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what these boys can do. But I think after we'll jump on board with somebody and do a lap, because this is honestly the best circuit to watch cars go around.
Absolutely magnificent circuit, good for whatever cars you're driving, but especially these Acura NSX GT3 cars. And we mentioned the 132s, and Hayne is not wasting any time indeed. And he has set a 132.786 to set the high water mark so far in this qualifying session. And just to recap the details for tonight, it is a 15-minute qualifying session and only a 45-minute race. I did mention it was an hour's race, but we are shaving off some time, and I think that should work out roughly about right. I guess we started about 15 minutes late, so we will be finishing possibly around the same time. But everybody watching the live stream, and all 8 people who are watching the live stream now, I know, I can see you. And please don't be afraid to leave some comments. Rob and I will not bite. We might do some other things, but we might make up some bad jokes. We might say something that you don't want to hear, and we've already said a few things off air that we won't we won't share with you. But anyway, get your comments in. We'd love to hear from you. As Mighty Murph now has gone into pole position. Have a look at that. A 132.6. He's gone quicker than Hayne, Rob.
Yeah, he's Mighty Murph, the Mighty Kiwi. He's just had a little bit of a kind of Shane Van Gisbergen in there, and as I say that, he's disappointed everybody. But that's a ripper time coming from Mighty Murph. We have said in the past, not the greatest qualified, but certainly last part of last season and last week, he showed that he's really improved on his 1 lap pace. So. Great to see Mighty Murph up there, and really good to see Hayne here as well. I think we got a little update from the race last week. Roddy has been dropped back from 3rd to 4th as for an incident with, I do believe it was HSV, so that does put Jason Wilkinson up into 3rd. So that means at the current point, last week was the first race of the series, Jason Wilkinson is in 3rd on the points.
Well, and we just see there Mighty Murph setting that quicker time. He does have a bit of a red mark against his name.
Yeah,
and boy,
it's a grid place penalty.
Oh, he's got a grid penalty. That's of course he does. That's what you were talking about. So a bit of a Max Verstappen style penalty there, as we look at Hayne at 1994, and well, we do love that Project Cars 2 livery there. And that we're all for the pride stuff as well there with that rear spoiler, but fantastic stuff. Can Hayne answer back and go quicker than Mighty Murph tonight? And what about this man? We said promoted to 3rd last week. Ooh, that won't do the underside of his car any good going over those bumps. And you mentioned, every bump around this circuit, Rob. It is a fantastic track. There's no doubt about that. As now Fubbles 888 on your screen. And a big hello to Stephen Peroski, who says, go, Aussie, go. And he's currently down in P9, your man, 3.4 seconds off of pole position, but he can only improve on that time with 7 minutes remaining in the session. As we mentioned about the points previously, let's take a bit of a look at the championship standings. Truss, of course, on top with 25 points. And then it is Hayne, 18 points further behind him. Jason, of course, we mentioned this boy promoted to 3rd, of course, 15 points. Allen on 12. Brody getting 11 points with the fastest lap point from last week. Fubbles, of course, 8 points, and all the rest of them are as they finished. And the big surprise last week, Rob, as we look at the points from last week, was Big Dick Jono with just the 1 point for 10th place last week. He'll be hoping to improve tonight.
Yeah, certainly he'll be hoping to improve tonight. And really weird to see Big Dick Jono get tangled up in a few of those incidences, and it just really put him back through the field, and he just couldn't recover, and really unfortunate for him. But at the moment, he's sitting 3rd in qualifying, so that's, he could really claw back some points tonight. Kart Dude as well had a really interesting race. He had a little incident, came in and repaired, put some new tyres on. He was so mega quick for the rest of the race and climbed through the field, so good job for Kart Dude as well. But yeah, it's interesting that a lot of the regulars that we usually see at the top of the field aren't really there lately, Trev.
No, it's always good to mix things up a bit, unlike Formula 1. It's good to see some different results, some new faces. Of course, a few drivers coming from Tier 2 to Tier 1. And it's always good to see Mighty Murph and other drivers up there, not just the regulars. Hayne, of course, also a new boy. As we saw somebody there. I think that might have been Truss facing the wrong way.
Yeah, it was Truss.
And Truss currently down in 14th. He's still got time, though, to challenge the top 3 drivers who are all in the 132s at the moment. And here comes Mighty Murph across the line, potentially to start another hot lap. And let's just take a look at a very tricky turn 1. You don't want to run out too wide there. It will compromise your entry for turns 2, which just goes around a long sort of sweeping couple of corners here. And Mighty Murph, can he improve on a 132.656? Haynes doing everything he can, Rob, And we see it every week, don't we, as Mighty Murph, he's straight back into the pit lane, making a mistake there, but it's so close. Those top three separated by just a bit over a tenth of a second.
Yeah, there's not much in between that top three, and that's really good to see, actually. It's really good to see Mighty Murph up there as well. So he's really pulled his socks up, and he's got his game face on, and got to say, Hayne here joined us last week, first SRL race, and gee, he was mighty impressive in that qualifying session last week. Not the greatest luck in the race. He had a couple of incidences on the first lap, but boy, I can't wait to see what he can do tonight, especially if he can keep his nose clean. And if he stays out on track, I think we might just go on board with him and watch how this man operates. I think he's on a flying lap now, so we'll jump on board. He's come up to the first corner. Really hard to get this one right, Trev. It's quite a early braking zone, more than you would think, actually. He can scrub the tyres off, and right here as well. Really easy to get some understeer going through this corner. Usually you want to get a little bit wider on that ripple strip there to give yourself maximum entry into that corner there, but it's usually flat, whatever line you take. This one's really hard. Bumpy on the braking zone, so it can throw you off a little bit on the inside corner there. Doing a really good job though, Hayne. Really good job up in the fifth, coming down to the chicane here. Really hard to get the car stopped here, and you can go way too deep as he's gone there. Little bit, well, not a little bit, way too deep. Usually want to get on the into the braking zone pretty early on, and clip the first apex into the chicane there. It helps turn the car around into the second chicane. You can get a really good drive out of there if you do it right into the second chicane here. That's really hard to get in there as well. Usually when you're braking, you want to be on the left hand side of the road as early as you can, and usually when you're braking into there, you usually have a little bit of steering lock on, so it's really easy to lock up and go forwards. And also coming in through there, if you carried a little bit too much speed, there's actually a couple little dips into the chicanes there, Trev, and that will unsettle the car, and a lot of the time, as you saw with Truss earlier, sitting in the middle of that chicane will spin you around, so not a fun place to have a little incident. And I do believe that Hamel might have another go at this. He doesn't have much time in the clock here, Trev.
Well, he made a mistake, but still he's got time to go around again. And these comments are flooding in on the live stream as we see Hayne start another hot lap. But have a look at that, Murph just shadowing every move there. He's currently in provisional pole position by 23 thousandths of a second. And with 2.5 minutes to go, both Hayne and Mighty Murph will be going around again to have another crack at it. Big hello to everybody watching the stream. 9 people watching at the moment. Waffles and Bits. Well, he's on the Aussie bandwagon as well. He says Aussie for the win tonight. And V8 Man 51 says Murph has a 1-place grid penalty. Very interesting indeed. So whatever Murph does, well, he'll at least be starting on the front row of the grid, but not in pole position. And V8 Man 51, Dane, happy birthday to you for a few days ago. We love you, man. And Adam Hayne as well, saying, get it done, brother. And I'm assuming he's talking about his brother, this man on your screen, Hayne, 1994. He's coming up with some traffic through the chicane here, but I don't think it's going to affect him too badly with a bit under 2 minutes remaining in this session. And I'm just trying to see whether he is on the pace, but he definitely looks like he's not leaving an inch spare around this circuit on this hot run.
No, he's done a great job, and especially into that braking zone there. You can see the rear just starting to get a little bit locked up, and actually that's a good thing in that corner because it helps get the car turned around. Just having a look at the timesheets, car 2's actually gone on provisional pole at the moment, only by these fellas. Oh, and Hayne just overcooking it into the corner there, getting the rear locked up, so I'm thinking he's probably running a little bit too much rear bias. Probably he could be using his race setup here, so Hayne certainly not going for the quickest lap, but gee, he's so close to it. But Hayne, I do believe will be starting second provisionally. Depends on what Big Dick Jono and Truss has actually got himself off the bottom up in the 5th, so this could be a really... Truss has gone first actually, Trev, so not exactly a commentator's curse, more of a commentator's gift.
Well, I've got to say something. Less than a minute to go in qualifying, Rob Dog. And I don't know whether you heard that sound or not. I know I did. It was the sound of a few million Taswegians just giving a big awe because Cart Dude went into P1 and then we heard awe, and that's because Truss went into pole position after that. But is he from Tasmania?
Yeah, I think he lives in Devonport, actually.
Well, boy, that just shits all over my theory. They went, oh, and they went, oh, yeah, because their other man from Devonport just went crazy because Truss took pole position. Boy, I wish there was a hole. I'm trying to dig myself out of this one, but as we take a look at Big Dick Johnson finished P10 last week. And he is in the 132s, but he is 2/10 off of pole position as we count down towards the end of qualifying. And it's two Tasmanians locking out the front row of the grid. And I'm not too sure, we'll have to go to our record books. But I think this might be the first time in SRL Project Cars 2 history that we've had a Taswegian front row lockout. As Jono, Big Dick Johnson, just getting a little out of shape there. And Mighty Murph's
gone top.
He has gone on top, but of course, unless someone can knock him off, he still has that grid place penalty. And boy, fantastic camera work there. Jason knocking off a cone or two on the track, I mean. As where is he at the moment? Currently down in P8, 7/10 off of pole position. Maybe he's been playing too much of Cricket 19, you'd reckon, after it was released this week.
Yeah, certainly probably playing too much cricket. You can just hear him like bashing on the limiter into that corner, which is good. Bash your limiter, not your misses. That's a hashtag we could probably get going around here, Trev. But yeah, Jason, you know, he didn't qualify well last week either, but he certainly raced through the field quite spectacularly and finished fourth. Ended up coming third. Sorry. So it's not all over for Jace, as I'm about to go for a quick break, Trev.
Yes, as you go off for that commercial break, Rob Dog, we can take a look at the final qualifying results there on your screen. And it's Mighty Murph taking pole position, but he does have that one-place grid penalty, so he will slip down to P2. And Truss will inherit pole position from him. Cartwood in third. Look how close it is. Hayne, 1994, in fourth. Big Dick Jono in fifth. Righty was in sixth. Andy in seventh. Jason Wilkinson could only do eighth. Fubbles ninth. V8 man in 10th. HSV, I'm not really happy with that, Kid Byers, in P11. Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. And the Aussie supporter fan club won't be happy with that. He's in P12. Womp, our cameraman, in P13. Have I told you that he's our cameraman? I've said it a few times, but what a magnificent cameraman he is. And Connor, I think that is, in 14th. I've never seen him before, but he starts in P14. And you can see the drivers on your screen from Truss in P1 and Mighty Murph there in P2. I wonder if that grid penalty will be a blessing in disguise, because he will have a very, very good run down into turn 1. And it'll be interesting to see what he does off the line. Don't forget about Hayne, of course, who will have a very juicy, spicy run up into turn 1 on him. Andy there in P7. And down to Connor in 14th. Fubbles there, holding the R2 and L2 buttons. Just getting ready to go racing here tonight. V8 man in P10. Got a bit of a man crush on Dane. There's nothing wrong with that. He is a fine specimen indeed. HSV in P11, who I've already done a bad impersonation of tonight. Kid Byers, just focus on the race, Kid Byers. Boy, that's bad, isn't it? But Aussie there in 12th. Womp in 13th. And I think that's Connor. And Super Crunch has joined the live stream. He says, howdy all. And I'm not sure who Super Crunch is. And I hope you're back on commentary, Rob.
Oh, I am back and ready to go. Howdy y'all. He sounds a little bit American. I think we should do a little bit of an American accent to see if he likes us, Trev. I'll start us off. I went down to the creek and I found my cousin and I made sweet, sweet love to her.
Oh, yes. You heard it here first. Don't we love the American accents? Let's get ready to go racing. Geez, we had the Indy 500, didn't we, last week? But we are away. Oh boy, I mucked that one up. But anyway, look at this. Off the start, Truss holds the lead. Cartwood up to second. Mighty Murph down to third. Hayne keeps fourth position off the starting line. Not too much happening. They all get around cleanly there. Connor at the back. Well, I think we've lost someone. There's someone gone off the screen. 13 runners now in this 45-minute race, round 2 of the SRL Acura NSX GT3 Championship style, live and exclusive on the Kid Buyers channel. And Truss maintains the lead off the line there. Hayne and Big Dick Johnson doing battle, and it looks like Big Dick Johnson up to 4th. But it's Truss maintaining the lead, but he's side by side with Cart Dude. This is very, very close at the moment here on lap 1.
Yeah, very, very close, and great, just a wicked launch from Truss actually off the start line. It's that was really impressive to see actually. But Mighty Merv hasn't actually really lost out here. It is going to be an endurance race, and we are expecting rain halfway through this race, so he's actually in prime position at the moment. Truss will be most likely the adventurer when it starts getting a little bit wet, so people are going to be noticing if he goes on to wets around about this certain lap. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Big Dick Jono up into 4th. Great start from him. Hayne as well, just dropping back to 5th. So Hayne just, I wouldn't say it's nerves, he's just a little bit of a rough start at the moment. We don't really know how this boy races at the moment, so we haven't really seen him in get past the first lap without an incident so far. He's only had one race with us, so this is, oh my god, it's a car fest at the moment. It's really good to see.
How spicy is this? Lap 2 now, 45-minute race here at Zolder, and it's Truss back in the lead. No, it's Cart Dude. Now it's Truss, Hackett and Thorpe. Thorpe and Hackett, stroke for stroke. Look how close they are. Oh boy.
Delicious.
Delicious. Oh gee whiz, you just get the feeling something special's about to happen, don't you?
Oh,
it's somebody's off. As I went into the Bruce McAvaney path there. Somebody, who was that?
I think it was Righty that went around. That was certainly somebody of a significant. It was Cart Dude that went around. There he is, dropped back to 8th. So that's a little. He'll be really pissed with himself, to be honest, Trev. He was in prime position.
He will be very pissed off with that. He's down in P8 now. He was battling for the lead with the big boys. Now he's got to deal with the common man down there in the midfield. P8, of course. And Waffles just letting us know that we lost Andy. He didn't get a ready-up option. And that man is shit out of luck, isn't he, on this game? The PC2 Antichrist loves Andy, says John Dog. And is that our John Dog, I wonder? Who is that? Big Dick Johnson? No, I don't think so. Anyway, enough about that. Connor. What's Connor up to? I'll tell you where he's up to. He's inside the top 10. This is amazing. Connor there in that jazzy-looking purple and blue number. In a points-paying position at the moment, looking very nice indeed. A couple of seconds ahead of HSV and Womp, who seem to have penalties. They've been naughty boys, as I don't want to alarm you, but there is 14 people, Rob, watching this stream. Huge numbers here tonight.
Yeah, huge numbers and a huge lot of action at the moment. I've got to say, Cart Dude spinning around is actually given Truss a bit of a free pass. He's able to just wander off at the moment. Mighty Murphy and Big Dick Jono doing some battle, but now Haynes caught up to that little train there, and he wants a little sniff of it as well, and I think this is going to get really, really tasty in a minute.
Here we go, Hayne riding on board with Hayne. 1994 started in P4, still in P4. But he's all over the back of Mighty Murph, the man who had a grid penalty leading into tonight. He snatched pole position by the scruff of the neck and by the skin of his sack. But he did have that grid penalty, of course, so he did slip down to P2. Currently in P3 as taken out twice. Jason there, not happy about something. Have we lost Jace, have we? I think we might have. So 14 started, then there were 12. But this battle is far from over. 40 minutes remaining in this race. And Jason will be off to play more cricket 19. And, oh, geez, we're getting some comments here. Super Crunch saying, I think Wilco is more into parking his car these days than out on the track. People slamming the brakes on mid-corner, not happy at all. So we're getting plenty of comments through on the live stream from all 13 people here tonight, but it's about this battle. It's ever so close. Look at that. Truss in first. Big Dick Jono, after finishing 10th last week. He is a man on a mission this week, Rob.
He's certainly a man on the mission, but Mighty Murph's not letting him go, and Mighty Murph's actually doing a wonderful job at the moment, keeping him very, very honest. And I've got to say, Mighty Murph and Big Dick Jono are actually closing in on Truss now, so Truss, he might be doing a little bit of fuel management, he might be doing a little bit of time management. I don't think really we'd be doing any time management at this point, as it is going to be a little bit of a wet race coming up shortly, so certainly he has to be going through those tyres, just whack on the softs and go as hard as you can. But we know from, I know from personal experience that Truss really does like the fuel save. He will run the car a little bit short on fuel just to get that little bit of performance out of it. So Truss probably doing a bit of fuel saving, but gee, it's at this early on in the race, and with these two boys behind him, I mean, Big Dick Jono looks pretty hungry, and Mighty Murph, well, gee, wouldn't he love to get the win tonight?
He certainly would. This is super intense. And if you've got any fingernails left at home, I'm damn well ashamed of you, because with 38 minutes to go in this race, we're on lap 4 here at Zolder. And have a look how close this mob are. Truss currently leading, but he's not pulling away, is he, like he did last week? Just 5 tenths ahead of Big Dick Johnson. And Big Dick Jono, I should say. Mighty Murph still holding on to a podium place. Hayne, 1994. And don't forget, Rain coming midway in this race. And Righty, good to see him up there in P5. Can't do now up to 6th after dropping to P8 from that incident earlier on. V8 man minding his own business in P7. Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. As he's in P8 there. Fubbles in P9. Working R2 like he has not before. Connor there. 5 seconds, he's around. And Connor there, disappointment for him. He was in P10. And HSV's managed to steal that final points-paying position off him there. But he does have a penalty. And I don't know about you, Rob, but I like this Connor chap. He just seems to keep at it, doesn't he? And I'm hoping he can finish in the points tonight.
Yeah, certainly very tenacious, and that's what we like to see. I like to see somebody who's very tenacious and hungry for results. And I mean, gee, Connor might be looking to take some advice from this big fella, Big Dick Jono. Very tenacious indeed, this young man. And young man, I'm older than him. Young man, and I've got to say, actually, that looks like a drop of rain on the camera lens there, Trev.
Well, if my eyes don't deceive me, that looks like it's raindrops. Well, Wilco, what the bloody hell are you on about? Rain expected with 20 minutes to go? I'm seeing rain now with 37 minutes to go. And take a good look at that bloody sunshine, because you're not going to be seeing it for much longer, because I reckon it's going to be pissing down soon as I see a few raindrops. Raindrops are falling on my head. Mighty Murph's in P3, but he might not be for too long. Anyway, just didn't know where I was going with that, but lap 6 now, and those times, 134s, 135s, if you don't mind, they're starting to spread out further down the field. Apart from this lead battle, there's a few seconds between everyone. Aussie and Fubbles going at it harder than anything that you can imagine on this planet. But Mighty Murph there, where is this going to put the drivers? Who are we backing to be able to handle these changeable conditions? Get your comments in, let us know. Because this is going to be, I hate to quote the great man Rob, but this is going to be a spicy one in the last half hour tonight. Yeah, it's certainly going to be a spicy one, and it's weird to say it's going to be spicy in the last half hour, almost there. So, I mean, it's good to see Cart Dude. He's only 6 seconds down from the lead, so you know what? He's still in a position to win this. So is Righty and Hayne as well. He's just sitting in the background at the moment, just having a look at these three. I guess he's probably thinking idiots at this point. Duking it out for the lead, and Big Dick Jono really closing the gap to Truss, but I certainly know that Truss won't let him get past that easy, and I think Mighty Murph might be thinking about that as well. Mighty Murph probably looking for a position where if they start fighting, he can certainly make some time up, and if the move goes wrong or they're a little bit slow over corner, he could probably round them up and pass them both. So Mighty Murph not, I guess, probably playing this one very, very smart and intelligent indeed. Hayne also probably thinking about that as well. He doesn't quite have the pace as the three boys at the front here, but certainly he's not out of it. And it's not always about pace when it comes to a racing car. It's
usually just about strategy and being very consistent. So if these boys can be consistent, it's going to be a humdinger of a race. You can see there, Big Dick Jono, that splitter getting very, very close to that rear bumper of Truss there. So this could be a really, really spicy move coming up into the chicane there. He had a little bit of a look, got back into the tucked into the dirty air of Truss there, and got onto the dirt of the braking zone. So he's just lost a little bit of time. Not too much to damage him, but certainly a little bit of time lost there for Big Dick Jono.
Well, this is incredible. Look at this. Not only do we have this lead battle between, we've got a Tasmanian leading an Australian, then a Kiwi. I know you said he's just sitting pretty there, acting very sneaky, very calm, very intelligent, and that's always a first. With oh my goodness!
Like I said.
Oh my goodness! And Mighty Murph's into the lead. Jesus Christ! I was about to say there's 16 people watching this stream, and I've just sent through a love heart for each and every one of you on the comments. But while I was doing that, there was a big, big balls up between Truss and Big Dick Jono, and now Mighty Murph is into the lead, Rob Dog.
Yeah, like I predicted, just call me Nostradamus, mate. As I predicted, Mighty Murph just sitting there pretty, just waiting for those two to make a little mistake or have it coming together, and sure enough, they certainly did, and now Mighty Murph has inherited the lead, and I got to say, this boy is looking pretty pacey, pretty quickly. I mean, he's got no dirty air in front of him, he's got all the downforce that he needs, so certainly this boy is going to be putting in a good pace here, but Big Dick Jono behind him. Never count that man. He's been behind people a lot, well, enough, I guess, within his SRL Acura. Big Dick Jono's actually got his nose in front, has put him first onto the leaderboard there, but he didn't have the track position, but certainly he should be able to get the drive out of the corner. And now Truss is right on the back of Big Dick Jono. This is going to be pandemonium.
This is unbelievable stuff at the moment. And I think Truss spun and Jono got caught up in it, but have a look how close they are. Now we're riding on board with the man who's in third place now with a bird's eye view. Front row seats to the Big Dick Johnson. Big Dick Jono and Mighty Murph battle. Mighty Murph down the inside. He's just going to send it, is he? And side by side they make contact, but that gives Big Dick Jono the inside line for the next corner. Or is it Murph? This is incredible. How good is this? And Big Dick Jono now just in the lead, but for how long we don't know. As we tick over now, 17 people watching us tonight. It's great to have your company. That rain is getting heavier by the minute. Speaking of minutes, we've got 32 of them left here tonight. First, second and third, all on your screen. Nothing separating them at the moment. They're lapping in the 136s. And the next three are lapping in the 135s. Don't forget about Cart Dude down there in P5 as well. He's lapping almost a second quicker than this lead trio at the moment, Rob.
I mean, certainly they'll be a little bit quicker in the last couple of laps due to these three having a little bit of a Big Dick Jono's made an absolute right mess of that. I was going to order some more Asian food, actually, but I had to stop myself. Mighty Murph back in the first, Truss in the second.
This is incredible, and now Mighty Murph's off. Oh my goodness, don't forget your chopsticks if you're going to Noodle Box tonight, because in fact don't go anywhere just yet, because this race is incredible. They're going to have to make a pit stop at one point or another for these tyres. We don't know when the changeover will be, but we do think it will be about the 138s, I believe, because this track is only going to get wetter and wetter here tonight. And let me just tell you the Tier 2 results as well. Tooley was in first, second was Hooked, third was Compact, 4 was Justin, and DNFing was Roy Roxon. I think that's how you say that. Sorry if it's not to that man, but boy, this battle, 3/10 between Truss and Mighty Murph. Thank you for sending those Tier 2 results in, and they're all over the place. We're going to be seeing those big rooster tails out the back in the not too distant future with just half an hour remaining. And Waffle says, bring on the rain. And I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Sorry, it's a bit of a Bill Clinton thing there. It's a joke that Rob and I have, a bit of an in-house thing. And I'm not sure why I mentioned it right now, Rob.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I think that alcohol certainly got into you, Trev. But geez, he's still really going at it, hammer and tongs. But I think the big winner here is actually Card Dude and Roddy. They've gained so much time within 3 laps just because 3 of the boys up there just couldn't keep their cars in a straight line and couldn't keep them out of each other. So Card Dude certainly a big winner here. Big Dick Jono, probably the biggest loser back in the P5. Roddy though, he's looking very, very pretty at the moment himself. But Mighty Murph losing a little bit of time to Trust, not too much so. I mean, certainly Mighty Murph should be used to driving in wet conditions, considering he lives in New Zealand, well renowned for being shit weather, and well, I could say a lot more other things about sheep, but I don't think I'm going to, because this is looking very, very exciting indeed.
It certainly is, and that rain is pissing down at the moment. That is the scientific term. And I reckon this is going to be very bad for Mighty Murph. That's, I thought we were doing the sheep joke thing, but obviously not. Anyway, 29 minutes to go until the end of this one. And don't forget, well, look at that Cart Dude. As we take a look at Big Dick Jono, who's down there 4th and 5th. That could get spicy between these two, and indeed it already has. Of course, these two making the comeback drive after their own individual incidents. And what do you call a sheep covered in chocolate? A candy bar. Oh, that's no good.
Fuck's sake.
This is just not how we need to do things here tonight. We're going to be losing those 15 viewers anytime soon if those jokes keep up. Lift your game, kid buyers. But have a look at this. We thought the rain was getting heavier, but those lap times back into the 34s now. This is incredible. I don't reckon that rain's coming down, but it's obviously not wet enough to make the changeover at this stage of the race, Rob. And the next question is, when will they come in to change to wet tyres?
I think they'll be coming in around about 8 minutes time. This circuit does tend to be able to keep its draw on for a long time, but as soon as it gets a few puddles around the place, those puddles get bigger. When I say they get bigger, the puddles form on the inside of the chicane, so you'll see when it gets a lot wetter and these boys have the wet tyres on, it's going to be not a fun time for them, because they're going to have to change the racing line. And certainly you'll see probably the go-kart line come out. Mighty Murph having a look on the inside of Trust here. Trust getting the drive out of the corner. Mighty Murph just taking a little bit too much into that corner. Not getting the drive out of it, but Mighty Murph certainly looking very racy here, Trev.
Here he is, and he's going to have a go at Trust, you'd reckon. This man, he's got a bit of a bone to pick, I reckon. He started, well, he did get pole position, I should say. He did start in P2 after getting a grid place penalty, but he's down the inside now, having a bit of a look at Trust. Boy, how much has this man picked up his game in recent weeks, our Kiwi friend. And he is just, is he going to put it around the outside? This long flowing turns 2, 3 here at Zolder. A magnificent track, isn't it? I've really got to stop cracking out the Bruce McAvaney there, but Truss now, Mighty Murph all over the back of him. He's not giving Truss an inch at the moment.
No,
and
Truss is going wide.
He's cracked under the pressure, and now Mighty Murph's through, and Righty might be as well, Rob.
Yeah, certainly. Great driving. Righty's on the inside. Righty putting on the move on Truss. Truss just taking a little bit too deep into the corner there, so Righty might actually get a little bit of a run on him into the second chicane here, Trev. This could be really, really good to watch.
Here we go, Righty. He does have a penalty of sorts, but never mind about that. He is going to be just all over it, like you wouldn't believe. Big John Dog saying something about the TV, and Andy says, what do Kiwis use for cologne? That's interesting. Keep the hilarity coming in. I thought it was just us on the jokes, but Righty, Truss, I reckon he's lost a bit of confidence there as he ran wide. And Mighty Murph, you can see him at the top of your picture streaking away at the moment there. So Truss, can he keep his shit together? I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, it's almost after 9 o'clock. We can say what we want, but look at this. I reckon Righty's going to have a go here. Rob, nothing can stop this man at the moment.
Nothing can stop this man at the moment, and Truss's car looks very nervous with a little bit of a damp condition happening here. So Truss must be running a very, very hard rear end. So anti-roll bars up to the, well, I wouldn't say maximum, but certainly very stiff. And that car's just looking very uncomfortable. Now Righty on the inside, really good over and under there. Righty's up in the second, and now I think Cartoon's going to have a look at his Tasmanian team. And Truss gave Righty just a little bit of a punt on there we were in there, nothing too drastic, and now Cart Dude's up at the third. Truss is just dropping back through the field.
He is dropping back, usually being stiff in the wet. You think that would be a good thing in any other circumstance but this one. And now Truss down to P4, and he's going to have a big Dick Jono right up his ginger anytime soon. He's only a second or so further back as there's a happy Kiwi chugging off into the distance. 3.5 seconds in front now, ahead of Righty in P2. Cart Dude all over the back of him in P3. Truss absolutely nowhere in these conditions. He is still dropping back now.
Big move from Cart Dude.
Cart Dude on the inside. A little bit of Taswegian for you. How good is that? And now he's up into P2. The man, Rob, who was down in P8 not too many laps ago, is on possibly for the lead here if he keeps this pace up tonight.
Now the thing is, now he has to worry about Righty behind him, because Righty's not going to be happy with that move. That was very Max Verstappen of him, just right into the braking zone, changing his line, and that threw Righty off a little bit. Righty's there having a look down the inside, thought better of it. Very good clean racing there from Righty. Cart Dude really needs to start getting a wiggle on now though, because Mighty Murph's just walking away and saying, cheer bro.
Well, Mighty Murph there. I wonder what's going on the team radio there. You just have to wonder. He can't believe his luck at the moment, but as soon as we say that, that gap now is less than 4 seconds. Oh, it's hovering. And speaking of hovering, have a look at that. Second, third, fourth, fifth, all in your picture, and all want a piece of our little Kiwi friend out the front, who's pretty comfortable at the moment, but who knows how long he will be there for. And Big Dick Jono, he's made the comment on the live stream tonight. He says, stiff in the wet, Big Dick Jono. He says, we're going downhill, Rob, at a vast rate of knots, but this race is spicing up at the moment.
Yeah, it's getting very, very spicy, and actually that's John Dog from previous season. John Dog's a very good racer actually, but he's decided to keep out of this season just to other commitments at the moment. Big Dick Jono having a look on the inside of Truss there. Truss just giving, letting the brakes off just a little bit there and giving him something to worry about. So Big Dick Jono had to pull back in, but Big Dick Jono's got some really good pace at the moment. Truss getting that confidence back now, looking very, very racy on the back of Righty. So Righty's got something to worry about now, and that's just giving Cart Dude some time to get away. And actually that lead's actually come down by 1.5 seconds over the last 2 laps, Trev.
It is now it was 4 seconds. Now it's 2.5. It's going up a little bit at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that. And I've just got to ask, what do you get if you cross an angry sheep and a moody cow? An animal that's in a bad mood. Oh, that's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Big deep breaths, everybody, because with 22 minutes remaining in this race, that's enough time
I thought you
for...
said big dick breaths.
Oh boy, it's just going downhill, isn't it? But there's still 14 people watching this. That is awesome. John Dog, I love you, brother. Keep the comments coming in. 21 and a half or so minutes left in this race. 3.5 seconds. And Hook says that's a bad dad joke. You better believe
back
it.
Up in the third. Oh, he's lost it at the chicane. Parking on the inside there. That's really lucky for everybody else. But who's coming through there? That looks like Vietman. Vietman getting through very, very cleanly. So Truss really going for the bold move there. It just looked a little bit too deep. But as I said, into those chicanes, the second pair of chicanes, there's a dip in the road. If you're still braking at that point, that car's going around. And as we saw with Truss, it went around.
It certainly did, and you've got to be careful about going too deep when it's nice and wet as Righty now in P3. Oh, let's have a look down the inside, shall we, he says. On, or is that, no, sorry, the other way around. Big Dick Jono having a look, and somebody's off into the pit lane. It's Cart Dude into the pits, and he reckons it's the changeover time. He will be changing onto wet tyres as the rest of them stay out, Rob. Oh no, we've got Truss in as well, so could it be the time to change finally to the wet weather tyres here tonight?
Well, that's the thing. I can't see any rooster tails coming off the car, so I would assume there was still a lot of grip out there. But Big Dick Jono going deep and hard into that corner, getting past Righty. Righty getting a little bit shafted there, might I say. But Big Dick Jono, gee, there's just been so much movement. But the big winner is this man, Mighty Murph. He's just walking away now, Trev.
Oh, Mighty Murph. How long can he stay out for on the dry weather tyres? And I just worry about this man. And I just worry that if he stays out too long, but that lead, look at that, 8 seconds now back to righty in P2. But if he just gets too confident in these conditions, and if he doesn't come in for those tyres at the right time, he could end up in a very bad situation, our Kiwi friend. But look at it coming down. I've never seen it go up. My old man used to say, every time I used to say, look, Dad, it's coming down, he would say that. But anyway, less than 20 minutes remaining in this race. And it's Mighty Murph still setting some good times, Rob. Look at that, 1:34.7 last time around.
This is just ridiculous pace coming from this young man. I've got to say, he's just doing a great job. And I mean, what runs but never walks? Of course, it's water. But gee, this man's just on a mission at the moment. I think he's really looking for his first win here. And I've got to say, he might be if he is certainly winning this race tonight. Probably stick around for the mid-race interviews, because he'll be very technical, what I'd say, about his drive tonight. He does tend to get very excited, very technical when he does a good job. So look forward to that. But Big Dick Jono's just slipping back. It's almost 10 seconds now.
Unbelievable stuff. So Big Dick Jono, then it's righty, then it's V8 man. Oh my goodness, where did Dane Williams come from, I hear you ask? And I reckon Grace, if she still watches these live streams, look at your man. Not only on for a podium, but possibly more here tonight. But Mighty Murph is leaving them still in his wake there. 8.5 seconds ahead of Big Dick Jono in P2. And don't forget about Truss and Cartoon, P8 and P10 after their respective pit stops. But Andy just saying next lap or two for the changeover. Andy saying back half getting real wet compared to the first half of the track. Thank you. We're getting a live weather update there from Andy. Thank you very much indeed. And Hooked says he's still lapping dry time, so there's no point of coming in at the moment, Rob.
I can see water coming off the tyres now. Certainly Andy's call might be right there, either this lap or next lap. And I do think that Cardu's probably made a good decision here, because Mighty Murph is 2 seconds off his previous fastest lap. So this circuit's certainly getting a bit wetter, and if it gets wetter and they keep running around with the slick tyres, well, guess who's made the right decision? It's Cardu and Trust, because they already got the wets on. So this could be a very, very spicy end.
It certainly could be. 17.5 minutes to go in this race. John Dog reckons this lap, or we're going to have trouble. And Mighty Murph still in the lead. Geez, I reckon Mighty Murph needed to come in there. These you can see there, Big Dick Jono, righty V8 man Hayne. A little
Aussie
bit further
Bro and Fubbles
back.
are in the pit stop there, Trev. Sorry to interrupt.
Go for it, my man. Aussie Bro and Fubbles there into the pits. Now Mighty Murph. Oh boy, I reckon he's got to come in on this lap, surely, Rob. Otherwise, he's going to lose out on that advantage. And I was a little bit surprised to see these three go through and continue their run, but those times they're getting slower. And you can see there Wilco saying Brody's dropped 2 seconds already, so it could possibly be too early for all of them. Wilco, he's the engineer there. After retiring early on from this race. So Fubbles and Aussie Bro into the pits and then out again. But I reckon it's not going to be too far away. Is it going to be this lap? Is it going to be the next lap? But like you said, Rob, you can visually see the rain coming off of these cars now.
Yeah, no, it's so wet at the moment. That second half of the back section of the circuit's just way too wet at this point. I'm surprised they're still getting traction, to be honest. But yeah, these boys will be waiting for Mighty Murph at this point. Mighty Murph is in the pits, actually, Trev. He's in the pits, so he's the pioneer. He's decided to go into the pit stop. For his pit stop to put the wet tyres on, and this could be interesting to see how this plays out. But Big Dick Jono's actually dropped righty. Righty's in, that man's in. So this is going to be a big moment for a Big Dick Jono. If he's gone just one lap too long here, this could spell some big disaster consequences for him, especially if he rotates that car.
Well, just like Martin Brundle always says, it doesn't take long to go from hero to zero, does it? In these conditions, and you've got to tread like there's an egg under the accelerator pedal so carefully. And these impressions are getting worse before they're getting better. But Big Dick Jono has decided to stay out. Look at that, pit Pit. Mighty Murph, righty, V8 man. Hayne is in as well. So is Womp, but he's down there in P11 outside of the points. And the gamble, Jono. Well, we raced in Monaco last week, but Jono is having a gamble here tonight and staying out. And he's got to be so tentative here. And he's got to come in this lap.
Sectors, sorry, Trev. The first and second sectors are still dry, so it's only the last sector. You can see it there, just coming around that corner, and you can see the spray coming off the car. So this could be a very bold plan from Jono here.
Well, you need big balls. Big balls for this one. 14 minutes remaining in this race. Look at the back half of the circuit there. I think that's Connor in the bottom of your picture down there in P12. But have a look at this. The gap is 30 seconds. Pretty much everyone else that matters have made their pit stop. And is he coming in? No, he's not. This is incredible. Big Dick Jono, he might just have played it here perfectly. Because like we said, Rob, that first part of the track is still not wet enough to change on to the wet tyres at the moment. As Wilco says, Righty and Dane stuffed up their pits. And now Righty's got damage, so he could potentially be out of the equation with 14 minutes remaining.
Yeah, certainly potentially out of the equation, but I've got to say, Big Dick Jono's not actually dropping Mighty Murph. Mighty Murph had about a 7 second gap to Big Dick Jono just before he came into the pit stop, so ideally Big Dick Jono wants to be about 39 seconds away from Mighty Murph to get back in front, but Mighty Murph's not going to let that happen in a hurry. And I've got to say, Mighty Murph's looking incredibly fine in these conditions. That car looks very planted and stable. So, you know, this is a big ask from Big Dick Jono, especially coming into these sectors here. You can actually see now the second sector is actually getting a little bit more damper, especially coming over the hill. There's a lot of water on the circuit there. You can see just the spray coming off the car now. So I think Big Dick Jono has to be in this lap on next.
He's got to be in, you'd reckon. It's just, look at that, absolutely atrocious conditions. And that gap remaining steady now. It's under 30 seconds now. So I reckon we're going to see this sooner rather than later, potentially this lap. He couldn't possibly do it, could he, Rob? Could he possibly hold off? I don't think he could hold out another 13 minutes. But he's in the pits now. Here comes Rob Dog. Connor going through there down in P12. But Mighty Murph, it's all about this man. Oh, Big Dick Jono into the pit lane. Mighty Murph now in P2 at the moment, but can he inherit P1 where he qualified? He lost that P1 due to a penalty, of course, a one-place grid penalty, but now is his chance to get back into P1. It's going to be close. They've still kept Jono there. They're just changing the tyres at the moment. This is absolutely incredible stuff. Mighty Murph, what's Jono doing? He's still stuck in the pit lane, I reckon. And he's got damage, I reckon, there, Rob. So it's cost him an extra 2 seconds. And Mighty Murph goes into the lead. So, well,
Big Dick Jono might be losing out here because Cartoo's about to take second away from him. So Cartoo's going to get some really good points here.
Well, Cartoon up into second. So this is terrible stuff for Big Dick Jono, who's still in the pit lane. He's just coming out now, Rob.
He's travelling there now. Yeah, that's a big loss for Big Dick Jono there. So maybe a lap or two too long on the tyres there. And it'll be interesting to see where Haynes going to come out. I think Haynes might be actually coming out in the back of Big Dick Jono there. So Haynes, especially with the hot tyres, and he's going to have the pace on Big Dick Jono. So Jono's not out of the woods yet.
No, he's still in P3 though, holding off Haynes there on your screen, as you can see, in P4. But 12 seconds that pit stop damage, costing him 12 extra seconds. But, well, I guess on the positive side, he will have a perfect, pristine car for the last 11 minutes of this race. But Haynes all over the back of him with those hot tyres, like you said, Rob. And he's all over him, look, for that P3. And just 10 minutes remaining until the end of this epic race here at Zolder for round 2 of the NSX GT3 Acura Championship, as Haynes flying the Gay Pride livery here tonight. Can he get one for the boys?
He's gone around. He's just sent it too much and into the barrier. That's absolutely a free card to Big Dick Jono there.
And that has given Big Dick Jono a get-out-of-jail free card. And I don't know whether that's a good sign We love the gay pride stuff, but as soon as I mentioned that, the old commentator's curse kicked in and the rear end stepped out. And now he is way down the field. He's dropped down to 5th at the moment, Rob.
Yeah, he's dropped down to 5th, and just having a look through the field here, he's right on the back of Fubbles, and certainly Fubbles is probably one of the hardest people to get past, because he doesn't really give a shit if you've got the nose on the inside. He'll just try and escort you very pleasantly off onto the grass. But yeah, Hayne, really a big loser out of all that. Really unfortunate, because he certainly had the pace of the dry tyres, and Hayne just getting a little bit wrong there, almost in the back of Fubbles. So Fubbles very lucky there, and good avoidance from Hayne, getting on the brakes just a little bit harder, a little bit earlier. Good driving from Hayne there.
Hayne all over the back of Fubbles, and where's Fubbles come from? In P4. He is just under a bit of pressure here from Hayne at the YMCA.
MCA.
We're going Y. Anyway, so Fubbles there in P4. Good result for him at the moment. 13 seconds behind Big Dick Jono. Boy, isn't he a lucky boy after that pit stop there. But he's still in P3, so things just settling down at the moment. This battle here, the closest on track, and Hayne wants a bit of Fubbles, and Fubbles now L2 and R2ing it through these corners, but he will have a whole lot of YMCA in his mirrors there. Hayne, 1994, just ahead of V8 Man. Don't forget about him. Dane there in P6. And he'll be looking for a top 5 finish tonight. 8.5 minutes remaining in this session. And look at that. You can visually see how wet it is. And look at that. The visibility is absolutely awful. As Hayne, boy, he wants a piece of Fubbles here.
Yeah, certainly wants a piece of Fubbles here. It'll be interesting to see how bad the track transitions from the last sector to the first sector. You can see just a little bit that first sector is not as wet as that last sector there. Very just a light sheen on the first sector. You can see actually it's a bit dry here, isn't it, Trev? You can see the drying line, so there's not actually not that wet, and you can see very dull now, so it's dry in this part of the circuit. So these boys will have to look after the tyres here, but gee, Dane's going to be very interested in this little battle here. Hayne's already made one error. Actually, he's made 2 errors in the race tonight, so there's probably nothing much stopping him from making a 3rd error, and Dane would certainly know that at the moment, so he's going to be putting Hayne under a lot of pressure there, and Fubbles also knows that Hayne's made a couple of errors, so Hayne just on the inside, looking for the big braking zone, not getting it. Fubbles just getting on the brake pedal a little bit later than Hayne there, so Fubbles really knowing where to put this car to make it very difficult for Hayne.
Well, this is going to be an interesting finish, I reckon, because have a look at this, and Hayne runs wide again, and that lets V8 Man through. They were all together there, and it was Fubbles under the pressure in P4, but now Hayne has made another mistake there, 2 in a couple of laps, 2 in 2 laps, and now he's down to P6. And he's got his championship rival as well there, the winner last week, Truss, a further 5 seconds down the road. But it's still Mighty Murph there, sitting pretty out front ahead of Cart Dude in P2. Big Dick Jono in P3. And now this man Fubbles 4th. Hayne in 5th. Hayne in 6th, I should say. Mighty Murph, V8 Man in 5th. What am I talking about? He's in 6th. And Wilco there saying that Fubbles has a 3-second penalty. So thank you for that. This track, still changeable conditions at the moment. Dry in parts, wetter in others. The cars seeming to be aquaplaning at that final part of the circuit, but it's almost bone dry here in the first part of the lap. And Fubbles there with that 3-second penalty. That could drop him down as low as 6th.
Hayne's had a moment again.
And Hayne, this man not liking the wet conditions tonight, Rob. He's awesome on this game, but I don't think he's a fan of the wet stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just gifted another place to trust there. So Hayne's really finding it very difficult in these wet conditions. Not the easiest conditions to drive around, especially on this circuit, but gee, yeah, just not very used to it, I guess. But Truss gaining some points back there. So Truss having a little bit of a moment earlier on. with Big Dick Jono, and now he's inherited some more points. But I've got to say, Trev, I thought this championship looked pretty cut and dry after the race last week, but certainly it's looking very, very spicy again.
Well, you thought wrong, because that was Truss going, that was his championship rival. Like you said, it did look pretty cut and dry last week, but Truss there has now overtaken Hayne in the championship. He'd held a 7-point lead. It's going to be a little bit more than that if they finish the way they are at the moment. And Hook saying, was Hayne trying too hard? Interesting question. And Waffles saying that it's Murph's race to lose with less than 5 minutes to go in this one. V8 man, he is sitting pretty for a top 4 position. Grace, cook that man some dinner, would you, tonight? Because that is absolutely fantastic. V8 man looking for P4. Of course, with Fubbles having a 3-second penalty, so all he needs to do, nothing silly, Rob, he just needs to slot in behind him with only 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, he just needs to slot in behind him, but I don't see him doing that. Racers like to race, so certainly V8 man would be looking for an opportunity at the moment to get past Fubbles, and certainly Fubbles doesn't want to let that happen at all. With a 3-second penalty, there's nothing really stopping Truss here. Putting the pedal to the metal and just causing a little bit of chaos for trouble, especially chaos for Fubbles. Especially with that 3-second penalty, anything's to play for, and this race has actually been very, very exciting tonight, Trev.
Here we go, V8 man down the inside, having a bit of a look. There's almost contact, and he can't get the job done, as Waffles and Bits there leaving a comment. He's saying, how about some Speedo action? Well, I don't know, it's a little bit cold this time of the year where I am. No, just joking, we've got the Speedo up for you. Oh, yes, working beautifully as always, Rob, and timing impeccable there. 3.5 minutes remaining. We've got the Speedo up, Waffles. Who knows, maybe end of season trip, we could do a bit of Speedo action. But anyway, like I said, a bit chilly this time of the year. But 3 minutes to go now. V8 man, he's going to inherit that 4th place, but he wants it on the track. He wants to get this done on the track, down the inside, having a little bit of a cheeky look there. He's not going to get it done there in turn 1. But can he get this job done on the track fair and square in the remaining few minutes of this race? On board with him now on this part of the circuit. A little bit drier, this part of the track here tonight. And you can see there, Fubbles.
Oh, Fubbles just got a little bit too wide on the dirt there. Really affected his turn in, but V8 man just got held up there. Fubbles just held the line, and he had nowhere to go. So Fubbles making some mistakes now.
And, oh, just, you don't want to get your braking, you don't want to brake too late into there in these wet conditions. So V8 man running out of patience, running out of time, he's through! Wow!
Yeah, I think Fubbles just moved over there. Just maybe might have had a time, not a time penalty, but just a slow down penalty. So Fubbles just letting him get past there, but now Fubbles has to deal with Truss. He's only 6 seconds behind. If he can close that gap up by 3 seconds, Fubbles is in a world of hurt when it comes to points. So and well, man, it's going to be great for Truss as well for in points, finishing 5th. That's not a lot, but it's certainly something to put a gap between him and Hayne.
Well, less than 2 minutes to go. And everybody in our comment section has Mighty Murph down for the win here. Wilco saying, great win, Alan. John Dog saying, good job, Mighty Murph. And Fubbles had a slowdown penalty there. Thank you, Wilco. Geez, where would we be without Wilco? No sign of Shep this week. But anyway, he's been terrific tonight, Mighty Murph. Faster than Shep, with those half a dozen or so scones the other week we saw on the chat, but that's an in-house thing. So just over a minute remaining in this one, and Andy saying Cart did about 5 laps of practice with me before the race, and he says I might have to adopt this strategy, he thinks. So interesting. But we are counting down now. V8 man in 4th, Mighty Murph out there in the lead, Cart Dude in 2nd. Now that gap increasing, 14 seconds between 1st and 2nd. Then it is Big Dick Jono in 3rd there after an eventful race for him. V8 man looking for his best result of the season, it's safe to say, in P4. Fubbles in P5, Truss in P6. His championship rival Hayne hasn't had the best of races, you'd say, in the changeable conditions in 7th. Aussie, HSV in 9th. Aussie in 8th, HSV in 9th. Womp in 10th. And Connor in 11th there, as it just updated on my screen. That was a bit strange, but anyway, Connor outside of the points at the moment. 14 started, 11 running, and it looks like it's going to be Mighty Murph who's going to take this one, Rob, with seconds ticking down.
Yeah, Mighty Murph just driven a great race, and this will certainly be the last lap. Mighty Murph just, he's just been so impressive, really pulled up his game, and he's just, I mean, he's still walking away from the field. It was about 10 seconds, I think 3 laps ago. Now it's out to 15 seconds back to Cart Dude, and he's just dropping people behind. So Mighty Murph might be a big factor in his championship. Certainly not, I wouldn't say a certainty, but definitely a big dark horse for everybody around him.
And speaking of big dark horses, he finished 4th last week, of course, with 12 points. He's going to take the win tonight. Let's just see this man home in a sea of spray. He comes around. This is going to be the final lap. 28 laps completed here at Zolder. And it's going to be this man, Mighty Murph. Let's see it home for everyone watching at home. Murph has driven a great race, says Andy. There is no doubt about that. He will take the championship lead too. Thank you, Wilco, as Connor there down in P11. But Mighty Murph, it's all about this man on his last lap of the race. And it's going to be a big celebration in New Zealand tonight, because he comes across the line, lights flashing. Mighty Murph wins race 2 in this SRL Acura NSX Championship. He is our winner tonight. A big Kia Ora to you. Or is it Kia Rana? I'm not too sure. Possibly that's what they say in the Cook Islands, but I digress, because here comes Cart Dude, the Taswegian, into 2nd place in this race. He had 5 laps of practice, but it's done him the world of good. And Big Dick
Jono's had a moment.
Gee whiz, it looks like my old man's false teeth there, just going all over the place. But anyway, Big Dick Jono coming across the line with bits and pieces off his car, but he finishes in P3. And Mighty Murph, no, he's finished the race. He can do whatever he bloody well wants, can't he? Spinning around. I'm pretty good, eh? So P8 man in P4, inheriting that, of course. Fubbles in P5. Then it's Truss across the line in P6. Aussie Bro in P7. And Hayne, I think he's dropped down to 8th, of course, tonight. But Aussie, oi, oi, oi. Then this man was a sure thing before the start of the race. But they didn't know squat about that. But he finishes P7. Good thing for him. And let's wait for Hayne, who has, he's a long way down, isn't he, Rob? So a disappointing result tonight for this man.
Yeah, certainly not what he'll be looking forward to. He certainly had some great pace at points in that race, but he just didn't have the wet weather setup as good as I guess he wanted it to be, and certainly I guess just pushing really, really hard, and now he's pushing the car really hard into the fence, just like Big Dick Jono likes to go in deep, and Hayne just went in deep into the fence there. But yeah, everybody's just having a bit of a spin around now. So session's over, and I've got to say, what a race from Mighty Murph. That was just a very, very impressive drive. I haven't seen. I would say that was a very mature drive. It wasn't very easy for him at all. In that first part of the race, just before the rain hit, he was battling everybody, and he came out on tops, especially in really hard changeable conditions. So great race from Mighty Murph.
Mighty Murph taking the win. To recap your final race results here tonight at Zolder, it's Mighty Murph taking the win ahead of Cart Dude, the Taswegian, in P2. Big Dick Jono in P3 ahead of V8 Man in P4. Fubbles in P5. Disappointing for Truss in P6. But he comes home ahead of Aussie Bro in P7. Hayne in P8. Disappointing for him. And HSV in P9. Orchid Byers and Womp there in P10. Connor in P11. And Righty and the rest of them not finishing the race. But it was all about our Kiwi friend, Mighty Murph 51. And Wilco saying, I guess practicing since Friday pays off for Ellen. Good stuff as Brody joins the party. And I made a balls of these post-race interviews last week, Rob, so I'll let you take the lead on this one with Cart Dude.
Yeah, well, let me take the lead. I guess he's the first one into the session. So we'll start with second place, Cart Dude. That was Gee, that was where can I start with you? I think it was lap 3. You had a moment coming into out of the third corner there, having a bit of a half spin, almost putting it into the fence, dropping back to 8th, and worked your way up to second. How was that race for you, mate? And really, really good comeback.
I actually did hit the fence.
Oh, you say you did.
Yeah, I did, but it didn't damage my car, which was weird. So these Japanese blokes obviously build this car stronger than they did with their F1 engine a few years back.
Or Hiroshima.
Oh, that's a good one. But yeah, it was good. It was a good fun race. So I probably went on the wets a little early, but I don't think that would have mattered too much because Alan just bossed us in the wet and very muchly deserves the win.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and great comeback drive from you, mate. We'll move on to Big Dick Jono. Big Dick, gee, that was a bit of a complicated one for you. Certainly had the pace for the lead. We didn't really get to see what happened between you and Truss, where Mighty Murph inherited the lead, but gee, you look really, really racy tonight, mate.
Yeah, mate, cheers. Yeah, it's pretty good. I had good pace. Just good compared to the first race, which I was pretty slow. But yeah, it was really fun in the first drive bit. Just lead was changing all the time, and you had to be real strategic with where you place your car and stuff. But yeah, with Truss there, I didn't touch him. He just I sort of went up the inside a little bit, didn't actually go beside him, and he I think he just lost the rear or something. He spun around, and I got stuck behind him there, and Murph went around the outside there. Pretty much.
I've got to say though, mate, considering your race from last week, that's some really, really good points for your championship. You reckon you can pull back the margin?
Cheers, mates. Oh, probably not. I don't think there's going to be many different winners, I'd say. So probably not much chance, I'd say.
Well, I did say during the live stream here, I thought it was pretty cut and dry from last week, but gee, to see everybody battling for first like that, I don't know. I think it might be a tough one, certainly for everybody involved. I reckon you got a good chance to pull this one back, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. I'll have a crack.
That's what we like to hear.
Well,
Alrighty,
thank you. Thank you, Jono. Fantastic stuff, and a little bit harsh on himself there, I think. Robbie's got Fuji, Long Beach, and Bathurst. Very Jono sort of Big Dick Johnson circuits. But anyway, all the best, mate. Tonight you finished on the podium. That's can't ask for more than that, mate. Congratulations, and all the best for next week.
Cheers, boys.
Thank you. That's our man, Big Dick Jono, as we welcome our man, the Kiwi, the man himself, Mighty Murph 51. A big Kia aura to you, Mighty Murph, mate. Talk us through that race. Fantastic stuff. Your first win in this championship. It might only be 2 rounds old, mate, but you got the job done tonight. Well done.
Oh, well, I mean, stuff you, mate. I was about to play the Kiwi national anthem. You can go get stuffed now.
Oh, well, look, Rob's been a bit bad. He's been a bad boy. But never mind about that, mate. Talk us through that race, brother. It was a bit of a crazy one. The changeable conditions. You had a few battles with everyone down the field, mate. After, of course, that grid penalty you copped at the start of the race, you just snuck into pole position, mate, and then you lost that. But still starting on the first row of the grid. But was that a bit of an advantage at the start, having the inside line into turn 1? Well, I don't think we can... we're getting comments through. We can't hear you on the stream, which is strange because I thought we could last week, Rob, but I'm not sure what's happening there. But Murph can hear me, but I don't think anyone else can hear Murph, but they're the comments we're getting. But still, we might just... Should we push on, Rob, or...
Murph, you got your
That's cool, because
while
we
he's
can go...
doing that, we can fill some dead air while he's doing that.
Oh, yes.
Gee, that's a shit national anthem, isn't it?
Ah, that's for the underarm incident. That's for dropping Brendan Hartley. Never mind about that, because this man has just taken the win tonight as we head back to the lobby on this game. But hopefully now our Kiwi friend has managed to sort out the audio settings. If anyone can hear Murph talking apart from us, speak now or forever hold your peace. Because he's talking now. Can anybody hear Murph? Come in over.
Fuck with shit.
Oh, how bad are we going here? You might have to play that national anthem, I think, right through, Rob, because we're travelling along. We're bloody terrible at the moment. But anyway, I can give a quick translation if that's the best we're going to do. And what did you think of the race, Murph? Oh, yeah, I was pretty impressed. I was a little bit pissed off about getting punted to the second position on the grid, but that gave me a really good run. And then in the changeable conditions, it was a bit of a difficult race, but still, people are getting disconnected here. But it was a good race, and I'm pretty happy. I've been practicing since Friday, so I'm pretty happy with that win. Well, thank you, Murph, and thank you to everybody who has watched the race here tonight. Don't forget, next week we're heading to Fuji. Oh, konnichiwa. Don't forget, if you want to get involved, head to the Supreme Racing League website, or better off, just message one of us on Facebook, but my missus might not approve of that. Any unsolicited messages. But Big Shep's joined us. He says, sorry, I've had a few frothies tonight. But don't worry about that. You can go back and watch all 1.5 hours of this live stream, Shep, and enjoy those frothies. Mighty Murph, congratulations on the win. Boy, what a shithouse finish tonight. But what a fantastic result for you, Mighty Murph, and congratulations. All right, Kia Runner. And also too, Rob, thank you for joining us through thick and thin tonight, mate. It's been fantastic. You've had a big day, mate, so you're probably cooked by now, but fantastic stuff. Thank you for joining us yet again.
Yeah, no, it was a really good race to witness, and honestly, probably one of the most unpredictable races we've probably ever called, though, Trev. But I think we should probably start calling this Supreme Racist League at this point.
Yes. See what you did there. How good is that? But we are just about out of time. Oh, Jesus, it's hard to believe 13 people are still watching this, but big thank you to everybody watching and the comments. Andy, John Dog, Wilco, you name it in there, Shep, Waffles and Bits, and old Johnny Come Lately Shep there. But thank you for joining us, everybody. Don't forget, next week it's round 3 of this championship. Boy, how good are these cars? How good is this championship? 2 rounds down, 3 to go. Be kind to one another. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.